Do you call me mad for telling this tale? I seek no belief, for it begins so ordinary, a simple village ritual, yet twists into a horror that claws at my soul. My mind reels, yet I am not mad, only a woman ensnared by tradition. A tradition that crushed me, then made me its keeper. I am Tessie Hutchinson, a villager, wife, mother, and this is the story of that June day, the day of the lottery, the day my world turned to stone, and then to something far darker. It was the 27th of June, a morning so clear and sunny it felt like summer's heart. The flowers bloomed in vivid bursts, reds, yellows, purples, dotting the fields like a painter's dream. The grass glowed green, fresh with dew, and the air carried the scent of earth, hay, and promise. I woke late, as I often did, my hands still damp from washing breakfast dishes. My kids, Nancy, Bill Jr., little Davy, were already out, chasing each other through the village paths, their laughter echoing. Bill was stacking wood behind our house, his shirt damp with sweat, the axe thudding rhythmically. I smiled, picturing the day ahead, the lottery, our annual gathering, a tradition as old as the village itself. In bigger towns, it took 2 days, starting on the 26th. But here, with just 300 of us, it was done in 2 hours, 10 to noon, leaving time for a hearty lunch. The square filled early, nestled between the post office and the bank. The children arrived first, as they always did, their energy spilling over. My Bobby was among them, stuffing his pockets with the smoothest stones, round as river pebbles, grinning with Harry Jones and Dickie Delacroix. They built a pile in the corner, guarding it fiercely from other boys' playful raids, their shouts sharp in the morning air. The girls stood apart, giggling, braiding each other's hair, stealing glances at the boys. Toddlers tumbled in the dust or clung to older siblings, their laughter bright as the sunlight. It felt so innocent, that burst of freedom after school ended for summer. They chattered about teachers, books, scoldings, their voices high and carefree, but soon they broke into games. Tag, hide, and seek, their feet kicking up dust. I watched from my kitchen window, my heart warm, thinking how this ritual, this lottery, was the heartbeat of our village, binding us year after year. The men came next, my Bill among them, forming quiet groups near the square's edge. They spoke of planting corn, wheat, potatoes, of rain's timing, tractor repairs, taxes. Their voices were low, their smiles tight, almost forced, their eyes avoiding the stone pile as if it held some unspoken weight. We women followed, in faded house dresses and worn sweaters, gossiping about recipes, neighbors, children as we joined our husbands. I was late, as always, my mind scattered, caught up in chores. I'd forgotten, it was lottery day until I saw the empty house, the kids gone, Bill absent. Clean forgot what day it was. I laughed to Mrs. Delacroix, hurrying along the dirt path, my sweater slipping off one shoulder, hands still damp on my apron. Thought Bill was out back stacking wood, then realized it's the 27th and ran. She smiled, her eyes kind. You're in time, Tessie. They're still chatting up there. I pushed through the crowd, nodding to familiar faces. Mrs. Graves with her tight bun, Mrs. Adams with her nervous smile, the Martin boys towering over their father. People parted kindly, their voices warm. Here's your Mrs. Hutchinson. Or Bill, she made it. I spotted Bill and the kids near the front, waved and squeezed through, my breath catching up. Mr. Summers, our lottery officiant, grinned, his round face glowing under the sun. Thought we'd have to start without you, Tessie, he teased. I chuckled, brushing back my hair. Wouldn't leave my dishes in the sink now, would I, Joe? The crowd laughed, a warm ripple spreading as they settled back into place, their faces expectant. Mr. Summers ran the lottery, just like he did the square dances, teen clubs, Halloween programs. He was jovial, childless, with a nagging wife. Folks pitied him for that. whispering about her sharp tongue. He carried the black wooden box, its edges worn, splinters catching the morning light. He set it carefully on a three-legged stool Mr. Graves brought, muttering as he adjusted it, his hands steady but reverent. The villagers kept their distance, an invisible circle forming around the box, as if it held a quiet, ancient power. "Need a hand, fellows?" he called, his voice cheerful but firm. After a pause, Mr. Martin and his son Baxter stepped up, steadying the box while Summers stirred the papers inside, his movements slow, almost ceremonial. That box was older than Old Man Warner, who'd seen 77 lotteries, his face creased with pride and stubbornness. The box was shabby, faded, chipped, blackened. But no one wanted a new one. Tradition held us in its grip. Stories whispered it was crafted from pieces of the original, built by the first settlers who founded our village, their hands calloused from carving a life here. Every year, Mr. Summers suggested a new box, but the talk always fizzled out, swallowed by habit. The night before, he and Mr. Graves prepared it, filling it with paper slips. Wood chips were too old, fashioned for our growing village, now 300 strong. The box lived in odd places the rest of the year. Mr. Graves' dusty barn, the post office's cluttered back room, even Martin's grocery shelf, gathering cobwebs until June called it back. There was fussing before the start. Lists of families, households, members, all checked meticulously by Mr. Summers. He was sworn in by the postmaster, a formality now. Though once there'd been a chant, a salute, rituals faded into memory. He stood in his crisp, white shirt and blue jeans, hand resting on the box, chatting with Mr. Graves and the Martins, looking official, important, the weight of tradition on his shoulders. The crowd settled, a hush falling like a heavy curtain. He cleared his throat, his voice cutting through. "Guess we better get started. Get this done. Get back to work. Anybody not here?" "Dunbar," voices murmured, overlapping. Clyde had broken his leg, so Janie would draw for him. "Wife draws for husband," Mr. Summers said, consulting his list. "No grown boy, Janie." "Horace is only 16, she replied, her voice tinged with regret. "Watson boy drawing?" he asked next. Jack raised his hand. "For my mother and me," the crowd murmured approval. "Good lad, Jack," their voices encouraging. Old Man Warner was there, grumbling as always. 70, seventh lottery for me." The silence deepened, heavy as the summer air. Mr. Summers raised his hand. "All ready, heads of families first. Take a paper. Keep it folded till everyone's drawn. Clear?" We'd done this so many times. It was second nature. Lips wet, eyes down, a rhythm we all knew. "Adams," he called. Steve stepped forward, nodded to Joe, took a slip, held it tight, and returned to stand apart from his family, not looking at his hand. "Allen, Anderson, Bentham," Mrs. Delacroix whispered to Mrs. Graves beside me. "No time between lotteries anymore. Feels like last week we were here." "Time flies," Mrs. Graves replied, her voice soft. "Clark Delacroix." Mrs. Delacroix held her breath as her husband drew. "Dunbar." Janie walked steadily, murmurs urging her on. "Go on, Janie." Harbert, Hutchinson. "Get up there, Bill," I said, drawing a few soft laughs from those nearby. Jones, Martin, Overdyke, Percy. Mr. Adams turned to Old Man Warner, his voice low. "Heard the North Village might quit the lottery." Warner snorted, his eyes sharp. "Pack of crazy fools, listening to youngsters. Next, they'll live in caves, no work, no nothing. Lottery in June, corn be heavy soon. Always been a lottery, always will." "Some places stopped," Mrs. Adams said cautiously. "Trouble," Warner snapped, his voice like gravel. "Young folks, no sense." "I wish they'd hurry," Mrs. Dunbar said to her older son, her voice tight. "Almost done," he replied. "Go tell Dad." Mr. Summers drew his own slip, then called, Warner. 77th time, Warner said. His chest puffed with pride. Watson. Jack went awkwardly, his lanky frame hesitant, but voices cheered. Take it easy, lad. Zanini. A long pause followed, the crowd breathless, the air thick. All right, fellows, Mr. Summers said, his voice steady. Papers opened. A rustle spreading like wind through leaves. Women's voices rose, sharp and anxious. Who's got it, Dunbars, Watsons? Then a murmur rippled. It's Hutchinson, Bill's got it. Go tell your father, Mrs. Graves said to Davy, her tone urgent. Bill held his slip, his face blank, eyes unreadable. Show us, someone called. He opened it, a black spot, heavy as ink, stark against the white. Whispers spread like wildfire. Bill Hutchinson. Relief sighed through the crowd. It wasn't them, not their family. Mr. Summers turned to Bill. How many kids? 3. Dawn Eva, with Dave Warner's family, but she draws with them. Right, daughters with husbands. So Bill Jr., Tessie, Nancy, Davy. 5 slips went back into the box, including Bill's blank one, the others discarded. My heart began to pound, a drum in my chest. The lottery was just tradition. Why this sudden dread, this chill in my bones? The box was cleared, 5 slips added. Mr. Summers stirred them with deliberate care. Ready? Bill nodded, his face tight, his jaw set. Bill Jr. He stepped up, drew, peeked at his slip, and smiled with relief, a quick flash of teeth. Davy, my little boy, went next. His small fist closed, his face innocent, unaware. I wanted to pull him back, shield him. Tessie. My turn. My legs felt like lead, heavy and slow, my fingers numb as I reached into the box. The paper cold against my skin. I took a slip and stepped back. She giggled nervously, her youth a fragile shield. Bill. He drew last, his hand steady, but his face pale, drained. Listen, folks, Mr. Summers said, his voice cutting through the tension. We opened our slips. Bill Jr., blank. Nancy, blank. The crowd sighing. Awe, a mix of relief and disappointment. Davy, blank. His laugh bright, unaware. Bill, blank. His shoulders easing. Then mine, the black spot, stark and final, like a wound on the paper. It's Tessie, Mr. Summers said, his voice flat. Matter. Of fact, I screamed, my voice tearing through the square. It isn't fair. Bill grabbed my arm, his grip tight. Shut up, Tessie. You didn't give him time to choose. I cried, my voice breaking. Raw. It isn't fair, the crowd murmured, restless, their faces shifting. Some pity, some impatience. Old man Warner barked, his voice harsh. Come on, come on. Stones appeared in hands, men's, women's, even my children's. Bobby, Nancy, little Davy, their faces blank, their small hands clutching rocks, their eyes distant. It isn't fair, I shrieked, backing away, my feet stumbling on the uneven ground. The crowd closed in, their eyes cold, their hands heavy with purpose. It isn't right, I sobbed, my voice lost in the rising murmur. They raised their stones, their movements synchronized, inevitable. The first rock struck my shoulder, sharp pain blooming. Another hit my head, the world blurring as I fell, the ground hard beneath me. But wait, that's not the end. You think I died there, crushed under a hail of stones for some ancient rite? Number I awoke in darkness, not dead, but transformed. The lottery wasn't death, it was rebirth. The black spot didn't mark a victim, but the chosen, the one to lead, to guard the secret of our tradition. I rose, the stones falling from my body, the village bowing before me, their faces reverent. I am no longer just Tessie. I am the keeper, The one who will call the next name, who will watch the stones fly. The horror. It's not the stones. It's knowing I'll choose the next soul. Perhaps my own Nancy, my Bobby, my Davy. Tradition binds us all, and now I wield its power. My heart is heavy as the rocks I once feared.